these features, transitivity at least. There is an exception. People have formalized relative identity, and I'm willing to accept those formalizations.
Hold on. I don't think. Hold on. I don't think that. Oh my gosh. Man, I don't want to go to crazy identities. I don't think like it's something. But
your choices are in terms of the intelligible.
I don't
choices,
care about the formal.
Okay, well then you're just. Who wants to talk about the LPT? Anybody here? Right.
I'm sure Nat would like to if she wants.
Yo, Void. Your legacy there.
Your legacy.
Why did you bring up material logic anyway?
Yeah, because you guys were asking him to dissect what he means by God, but that's just trivial. He's presenting an LPT, where he's assessing its formal consistency, right? He's not interested in whether...
I was telling Kindle that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's why
I think he was agreeing with me at that point, but Cantor wasn't agreeing.
Yeah, that's why, but like you guys started deviating from the point, so now I'm kind of like, there's no point for me being here.
Oh, okay. Look, from what I understand, when you see the variable that that's what I'm saying. Like, logic does not. Do you agree that logic does not give us the meaning of what it means for things to be identical?
Absolutely, it can. Right? There are definitions for these symbols in logic. It's definition.
Or definition describing reality?
Right. Like, for instance, the material implication there's a definition of that.
Oh yeah. Is the definition defining reality or describing? Sorry, reality.
No, it's not. It's not about.
What is it?
Definitions are not about it. When you define the equal sign, you're not defining. It's not a metaphysical thesis. Right. It's just saying, hey, this is what the term means.
So, what is logic about then?
It's basically about validity. The study of arguments, right? What follows from what?
Yeah, but definitions, like to define
definitions for that.
Hold on. Is the equal sign representing anything in reality?
The cosine?
The equal sign, is it representing anything?
No, I don't think so.
So what are we talking? So if we're not talking about reality, what are we talking about exactly?
We're talking about logic. We're talking about the sorts of rules that we accept within a formal system by which, if we accept some proposition and a set of propositions, right? If we accept that formal system, it'll tell us.
Logic isn't about reality.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay, then why do people? That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand.
I just told you. I just explained it. Did you hear the explanation?
Okay, I think that. Under my view, then I think that metaphysical necessity and like metaphysical what is it called again? Is it modal? Hold on. When you say something like logical,
you mind if I give you all 15 more minutes? If that's fine.
That's fine. Do you think like logical necessity, for example, has anything to do with reality?
Logical necessity? No, I don't think so.
Okay, then yeah. I've been talking to people about this. Like, it sounds stupid to me. I
mean, the extent that it might is if Platonism is true, but
then the only scope that will exist is gonna be metaphysical. I don't know. I think like logical and metaphysical are gonna be the only scope.
Do you think look here? Think about this. Do you think that I'm saying anything about reality when I say that a cat is a cat?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know how to talk to you.
Why would you not be saying something about
what am I talking about?
Yeah, you're talking.
It seems like cats are not. That's true whether there are cats or there are a million cats.
Yeah, but you're not. Cat here is not referring to an individual. It's referring to like a universal.
That's the point. Is that when you're talking about reality, right, as far as I understand what you're saying, right, you're referring to stuff. You're referring to things. Right, but when I say cats are cats, I'm not referring to anything.
Yeah, universals are things. You're referring to the universal.
Okay. Okay. So that's Platonism, right now.
It's not Platonism.
By Platonism, I just mean you're a realist about universals.
Yeah, I can be a moderate realist.
And I'm fine to presuppose that view. It doesn't matter, right? In which case, if we're accepting your view that there are abstracta, if there are universals, okay, then yeah, then no, logic doesn't tell us anything about concrete reality.
I can't hear you. My bad, bro. I got a call. Wait, what did you say?
No problem. Yeah, I said I'm fine to presuppose that abstract exists. There are universal properties, essences, whatever, all that, all that stuff. But then I would modify my claim as logic doesn't tell you anything about concrete reality. It only tells you about abstract. At best, that's the best case scenario.
Well, God isn't God is beyond concrete and abstract terms. So.
Okay, well what does that matter to our conversation?
Because we're talking about God.
No, we're talking about whether there's a formal issue with the statements that comprise the Trinity. The doctrine.
Yeah, but then you're saying that like logic does not, for example, talk about things that are beyond things that are abstract and concrete. It only talks about concrete terms.
No, I'm saying that it doesn't tell you anything about how the world of this, let's say, sense perception, causal reality.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Doesn't tell you anything about that.
It only talks about abstracta. Yeah. So
at best case scenario.
Yeah, at best case scenario, but even that would just mean that, even that it is like God.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay,
yeah. As in, like I agree that.
So what is logic about? It only abstract them.
But people, I don't know if I cut out. But like, if you study logic, if you have a person that doesn't know anything about Christianity or God, some kind of agnostic, that nothing in the concept of logic will get you God. Nothing.
Yeah.
Right. If you open a logic book, there's nothing in the principles, axioms, theorems, whatever.
I understand
Okay.
that. I understand the analytic understanding of logic. I understand what most people think of logic. I just think it's just stupid. I don't know what that even means.
Okay, well, fine. I don't know what you want to talk. I don't know what you want to talk about then.
Then I'm confused. I don't know why. Why does it matter if
it doesn't matter to you if you're throwing contemporary or modern logic in the garbage, then you're not the kind of person that is interested in the LPT.
Because you have to look, but I'm interested in like this topic because then I can like talk about like how stupid they are. Now, if we're not if logic is not telling us about anything about reality, they start telling us, for example, this thing cannot exist. For example, like if I were to say something like, well, bachelors are unmarried. If it's not about reality, what is it telling us exactly?
About statements and truth preservation.
Is it just saying that we can't say the statement?
No, it's just saying that under that system, right, this doesn't follow, that does follow, or this is necessarily true.
But it's not telling us if this thing cannot exist or
right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Right. So, now you might want to say
true that bachelor unmarried are real. It's just the system doesn't capture that.
No, but you've just invoked a logical operator could. Right. So the point is that you're presupposing a system of logic to say, well, this could be the case, which is exactly what you're attacking.
I could just say that like is the case.
What is the case?
Bachelor unmarried is the case, and there's no way you can disprove that.
But that's a statement, right? And so I accept a certain.
You're just saying that like the statement might be invalid. You're not telling me if what I'm trying to capture in reality is invalid, though.
No, well, first of all, that statement is only implicitly inconsistent, right? It's not formally problematic. It's not explicitly problematic. All right. There's basically three categories of, I guess, inconsistency. Okay. There's explicit, formal, and implicit. Okay. So when you get statements like I am a married bachelor. If you were to formalize that, you couldn't. There would be no explicit contradiction. You would have to. You need other premises, right, to show that. Okay, so that would be implicitly contradictory because you need to add it. You need to add in
that's still
Okay.
fine. I'm saying that like given you show me and we add those other implicit things, then we figure it's a contradiction. The contradiction is not telling us if it's not true. Not even that. It's not even telling if it's not necessarily not the case. It's just telling us that well, in this system, this does not obtain.
No, but then okay, you could take a step further about you can have a theory of truth. So, but that theories of truth are peripheral to logical systems. So, when a logical system tells you that this statement is necessarily false or necessarily true, then you insert your theory of truth. Let's say a correspondence theory of truth, which is not a logical view. It's not a view that logicians, it's a peripheral issue that logicians might think about. In which case, you're married, then
Why should, why should we take that like logic? But we already said logic does not correspond to reality. Why would we
no,
go?
no, no, no. You need logic doesn't give you a theory of truth, right? It doesn't
2 minutes
define
left.
truth.
Yeah, I'm not even asking does it. I'm asking does it correspond to reality?
What does?
Logic.
No.
Okay, then why even if I had a theory of truth, why will it now correspond to reality?
Because then you have to have auxiliary views about truth to get you there, right? You can't just use logic. You can't look at a formal. What formal system defines truth? I don't know any that do.
Yeah,
You have
but
to.
for me to do so, I will have to presuppose that the system itself is true in reality, or even but then even
True.
if
What does that
yeah
mean? True in reality just means like you're using the correspondence theory of truth.
yeah, but what I'm saying is that I'm not saying I'm not using it. I'm saying that well, granted that it doesn't like the correspondence theory. Okay, let me give an example. People have different type of logics, right? The correspondence theory will not tell me which logic corresponds or not.
Say that again. Ask that again.
The the theory, the correspondence theory, is not going to tell me which formal system should I take.
No. Look, they're two different views that work together.
Yeah, but I'm asking, how does this view get me to see which one is actually?
Look, this is not hard. A formal system will not define truth, and truth will not define the formal system. These are independent views.
I'm not disagreeing, right? I'm saying
Okay.
that
So
given
then, what's the
that,
problem here?
the problem is that given that then all systems are just arbitrary.
What do you mean by arbitrary?
There's no reason for me to hold to. What is your reason should I hold to classical theism? I mean, like classical logic. Yeah, classical logic. Anyone could just make their own system, and it would be fine.
Yeah, but the point is that people are motivated to accept one formal system over another on the basis of counterexamples. They're
Yeah,
sense.
the examples is irrelevant because you can always make another system
No,
that
look,
works for it.
more or less, this is going to be rough. Okay, but more or less, what happens is we have experiences, we find certain things intelligible. Like, I don't know what it means to say that A is absolutely identical to A, and if A equals B and B equals C, A is not absolutely identical to C. I don't know what that means. Right? I literally don't know what that means. Okay,
Okay,
and on
I
that
would just
basis,
say,
I'm fine to accept the general principle of the transitivity of absolute
yeah,
identity.
I was
Okay.
reading Platinum. What was his name? I'm pretty sure.
Platinum?
Yeah, Putnam, and I'm pretty sure I was reading like something he wrote. He was like he was scoping. I have the thing. I think he was just scoping honestly, and he was saying that like his theory, the foundational problem in mathematics, literally can't be solved. It
What does
seems
that have to
like
do with anything?
well, the foundational problem deals also with stuff like this that it even admits that logic is arbitrary. There's no reason for
I just
they're
gave you a reason.
not self-evident.
I just gave you a reason to accept for
What is
why
the
I
reason?
accepted the transitivity of identity.
Why did you accept it?
Because it means I don't know what it means to
Okay,
say.
but no, but I'm not asking you, Danny. What do you think is self-evident to you, or what other things don't
What are
mean?
you asking?
I'm asking why can't what? Okay, look. Either it is necessarily the case right? That logic is necessary. That system is necessary. Or it's not necessary. You agree?
Look, it's necessary. You know what explain, in my view, necessity is not outsourced, right? The formal system dictates what's necessary.
Okay, so logic is not, the system is not necessary, nor necessary.
Did you hear what I said?
You just said
understand what I
that.
said? I'll repeat it.
Hold on. Yeah, what
So
you
look,
said was that the system itself dictates what is necessary and what is not necessary.
right.
What
That
is
when you
then what we
have
should
an
conclude is
axiom,
that
when you have an axiom, let's say necessarily A equals A, what explains the necessity of that proposition is stipulated by the formal system itself.
yeah, and I'm questioning the very formal system, and I'm saying why can't we see them? Is the system itself necessary? Why can I do that?
No, I don't. Look, what does that mean to say that the system is necessary?
That the system is necessary.
It's like a category error.
What do you mean? What a category error?
Necessity, as I understand it, is a modal operator that quantifies over or is over propositions. Formal systems themselves are collections of propositions. And if you want to say that where the formal system dictates the propositions that are all necessarily true or necessarily false.
Okay. Formal system.
But to say that the formal system is necessary is a category error.
Yeah, you can have the proposition the formal system is necessary, either be true or false. What are you saying?
But look, this is how it goes. It goes something like this. If I say I accept classical logic, then you know what propositions I'm committed to as being necessary, right? That is stipulated in the system that I've adopted. Now, I have very intelligent friends that are sympathetic to intuitionistic logic or paraconsistent logics, okay? In which case, when they've adopted that formal system, right, and they have their motivations, then I know what sort of statements they're committed to as being necessarily true or necessarily false.
Is this that's a statement. The statement the system or whatever system, like for example, the statement classical logic is necessarily true, or classical logic is
I don't look I wouldn't say this again, a category error. Classical logic is not a proposition, right?
I didn't say no. The proposition is that classical logic is true. That's a proposition.
Classical logic is true. You're adding is true to classical logic. You're treating classical logic like a proposition.
What do you mean? Oh my gosh. Okay.
Look, it's like saying the tree is true. The tree is true.
Like classical.
Look, I mean, there are people that say that there's a one true logic, meaning that, you know, like there's some formal system that everyone ought to prefer over any other.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at.
And
that's what I'm trying
really,
to get at.
you know, I wouldn't argue for that. Okay. I respect people that say, look, on the basis of these examples, I think that I reject the principle of explosion or paraconsistent logic, or given vagueness, I reject the LEM, so I'm sympathetic to intuitionistic logic. I don't have problems with those people, right? But the reason why, with the Trinity, though, right? I don't know any formal system that can make sense of that. Okay, so like the non-classical logics don't even help you very much.
Yeah, it's not even the so okay. Thing, because look, language seems, the thing is, I think it's the language here that seems to be the barrier. But what I'm trying to say is that why should any rational entity, all right, ever commit themselves to classical logic? Commit themselves to classical logic.
What?
It's arbitrary. It's just
what do you mean by arbitrary? That's like, what should someone eat? Do you think like I don't know what, define arbitrary as clearly as you can.
Yeah, arbitrary is when you have two sets of choices or multiple choices, in which you have no reason to choose one over the other.
But who said that, right? Look, do you think that that there's a fact, a normative fact about what people ought to eat right now?
No.
People have you just defined arbitrary in terms of not having a reason to.
Hold on. But the reason why this is the case is because I know you don't ask the PSR, but when we look at the thing, the reason they like pizza, there is no reason. The liking itself is arbitrary. Therefore, their choice follow necessarily.
What are you talking? Wait.
Arbitrary source.
No, reason just means, on my view, it doesn't mean anything else. On my view, is that which rationalizes the action. Okay? If there's nothing that rationalizes the action, right, then it's arbitrary.
What do you mean to rationalize an action?
We've been over this, right? That there's a fact of the matter as to what they meant to do. Okay? It's that thing that creates the fact of the matter as to what they meant to do, whether they succeeded in their act or failed with respect to their act. So if I eat spaghetti, okay, then whatever rationalizes my action in eating it, right, is going to be a reason, on my view.
Yeah, look, there are actions that are just arbitrary, and I think one of this is that I don't know what you're saying. You're saying that, like, what you have I'm asking you, what is the reason that you like this thing? Because liking something is an act.
Yeah. Okay, no. What matters? No. That you're asking the wrong question. You're asking a good question at the wrong place in the story. The story is, why did you choose to accept this formal system over the other formal system? Okay, so for instance, I accept classical logic. Actually, I'm becoming skeptical of the LEM. Okay. So, I don't know if I'm even, whatever. Okay, the point is that let's say I accept classical logic, okay? Then they ask me, why do you accept classical logic rather than intuitionistic logic? Well, because I don't really understand vagueness, right, enough to where I would discard the LEM, and because I accept the LEM, right, and because I accept the principle of explosion, although I don't even know why.
Yeah, but that's what we call a partial reason. I can still ask why is that the case, and ask you why is that the case until I arrive at something.
Then you've got a problem. It's not transitive, right? If you're saying if A causes B causes C, but nothing causes A, doesn't mean that nothing causes C, right? In the same way that if A comes about unexplained, but then A explains B explains C, it doesn't mean that C is unexplained. It's not transitive.
So I think C is partially explained. Yes.
Okay. Look, it doesn't matter. Okay. The point is that if it's partially or fully explained, it won't follow. It will not follow. It will not follow. I don't know why you're over talking me, right? It will not follow that if A has no reason, that therefore your action has no reason if A eventually led up to your choosing.
Yeah, I don't think that is. I think yes, it is the case that if A doesn't have a reason and B is caused by A, then B doesn't have a reason. Yes.
That's so stupid. I don't even know how to argue that.
I'm just getting this from Aristotle. Aristotle says that.
Well, look, why would we give a fuck about Aristotle? Why would I give a fuck about him, right? Why would I give a fuck about him, right?
I'm not saying that you're.
These philosophers, both atheists, theists, and in between, right? There are morons all over. Care about their authority, right? I do not care. So don't mention their authority.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're authoritative to you, Danny. I'm giving you reasons why I don't believe that.
Why would anyone care about fucking Aristotle?
That's what. Okay, Danny. I think. Hold on. Don't. I think Danny is a hypocrite, a little bit, an hypocrite, because you're telling me, right, the reasons why you believe in classical logic is only personal to you.
I didn't give my reasons. I was using an example.
Yeah, you said that. You did. You said that because
Nous can ask.
That was just an example. Look, you're missing the point. You're just missing the point.
Okay, it's fine. Even if it's not now, I'm doing the same. The reason why I accept this theory is just because I feel like Aristotle is convincing to me. Great. Now,
Okay, so but why would anyone care about that?
yeah, but why would anyone care about your classical?
I'm not saying they should care about it,
And I'm not
dumbass.
saying they should care about mine.
Okay, so then why are you saying it?
Then why are you telling me? Then why
You
want
asked
the LPT?
me. You asked me.
Wait, what?
I didn't ask you.
Ask you what?
Okay? I didn't ask you why you accepted your dumbass positions. Okay?
No, I'm
if you wanna fuck Aristotle, then fuck him. Okay? I don't
What do you think
care.
about Aristotle?
Well, I think it was a genius, but the problem is that there are geniuses on every side of the aisle. Okay? It's bad form in philosophy to appeal to a philosopher as an explanation for why you believe things, because there's someone equally as intelligent, as brilliant as that person that takes the opposite view.
What if I go on the top of the food chain?
There is no top of the food chain.
But there is.
There's so many. Rather, I misspoke. There are literally hundreds of people at the top of the food chain.
But there's only one at the top of the food chain.
You're trolling me. Stop trolling me.
I'm not trolling you. I'm just
Well, don't be a child.
saying that we appeal to Aristotle as the greatest philosopher.
Sorry, what was that?
It's irrelevant, bro. We don't want to talk
I'm
about
just saying
that.
we appeal to Aristotle.
I think.
Yeah, but okay, I'm fine, but that's bad form, because are you saying, for example, that Hume was less intelligent than Aristotle?
Yeah, we could just say that like Aristotle is an axiom, bro. That's it. Like what?
Yeah, y'all are just trolling me. What's the point in talking to you kids?
I'm not trolling because you are affirming the fact that right, every system is equally. There's no system that is more true than another.
No, I'm not saying that.
Are there systems that are more true than others?
What do you mean more true?
That comports more to reality than others.
I don't. We've already went over this. I don't think logic is comport to reality.
Then that's just called a fantasy, bro.
In a way, yeah, logic is a bit like a fantasy.
Okay, then what are we talking about? It's just a
We're talking
dream.
about.
It's
Look.
just nonsense. It's just jargon. It's just words. It's just word. Put.
No. God,
Logic.
why are you so dumb? Look, listen. Okay, here's what's going on. People experience shit. They have thoughts about how the world is. They have concepts. Okay, so what? In order to accomplish our goals, and as we proceed through experience, right? We see regularities, right? We find certain concepts intelligible, and from there, right, we organize, okay?
Why?
We make up organizations about thought,
Why do that?
all right? In order to, in my opinion...
Why can't you have a logic that the point is to be
Why are you
unorganized?
interrupting? But go ahead.
No, my point is, why can't you have a logic that the very point of that system is to be unorganized?
Well, then you can do that. I'm not stopping you, dumbass.
No, you're saying that people does it as if like everybody does this to organize their thought. Why can't we do
Look,
the
some people
opposite?
are freaking dumb like you and invent shit.
Wait. Are you saying that like to do the unorganized one is dumber than to do the organized one?
You would agree with me because
I
you
would
agree
agree,
with
but
me.
for different reasons. It seems you don't have.
Okay, I don't care.
Okay, why is the reason though that we should do that exactly?
I gave you an example. Sometimes the contrary is unintelligible.
What is the
Meaning
very?
I just
I'm
don't
telling
know
you the
what it
very
means.
point. Look, the very point, and there's people that believe this, by the way. So it cannot be dismissed, right? People that believe that reality and everything is unintelligible. What if their very point was to be unintelligible? That was just.
Okay, what does that have to do with what I'm saying?
I'm saying.
Look, I'm telling you, God, how are you so fucking stupid? Why are you so fucking stupid, right? How do you screw up every single word that I said? You're the most infuriating person to talk to. I said, for example, if you take the statement A equals A, to say that A equals A but doesn't equal A, right? I don't know what that means, and so I'm not going to accept it.
Okay.
So the alternative is to accept
You're not
A
listening.
equals A.
You're not listening.
It's not
You're not listening. Okay, look.
hard.
Andy,
It's not fucking
I
hard.
understand what you're saying.
It's
You're
not
saying,
fucking hard.
I'm not pause, bro. We know. Look, the point is, what it bottoms down to is that you prefer um things that you can understand over things you can't understand. Correct, Danny?
I hope. What do you mean? Why are you asserting prefer? You're just poisoning the well.
I'm asking. Okay, look.
No, it's not a preference, dumbass. It's not a preference.
What is it?
Why are you poisoning my words? Stop it.
Okay.
Did I say anything about preference? Did I say anything about preference?
No. You said.
Did I say anything about preference?
Implicitly, yes. I'm pretty sure you did.
How? What word did I say that implies that term?
Yeah, the term you used was.
No, I want the word that I said that implies the term prefer. Go ahead.
Intelligibility.
What word did I say?
Yeah, you said that like the people.
Give me the word that implies prefer.
Yeah, the word that is implied is gonna be choose, bro. Hold on, let me finish.
Choose means to prefer.
I'm not,
Look, sometimes,
I said
first of all,
implied.
number one,
I never said it meant that.
That's so freaking dumb. Okay,
I said it implied.
Some people, shut up, shut your mouth, shut up. Okay, so anyways, if you choose right to believe that your family member has cancer, does that mean you prefer that option? Does that mean you prefer it, dumbass?
What are you saying?
You're saying that the word choose implies that they prefer preference, but it does not, dumbass. It does not.
I never said in every context, Danny. What are you saying?
In this context, what does choose mean?
In the context that you're given what we're talking about, it does imply prefer.
No, you're so fucking dumb. It means to accept it. It means to believe it, dumbass.
That's what. Okay, Danny. For what reason?
For the reason of.
What reason?
For the reason of. That you get preference.
You're not listening. I'm questioning.
No, you better give me a direct answer, right? Here's what I want a direct answer for. I said that the reason why I believe or accept that A equals A is because to say that A is not A, okay, is unintelligible to me. Now tell me where you're extrapolating preference from that.
Yeah, because every time I've asked you to expand on that, it never gets. It only gets to the fact that that's what you prefer. That's what it gets from it.
You're so fucking dumb. Where do you get preference? Where are you getting preference, dumbass?
Saying you're saying that, Danny. I'm not saying that you're saying that verbatim. I'm saying it's implied.
What? By what term?
Not by a term. By my question.
Okay, implied by what I said?
Okay, oh my gosh. If I ask someone, right, why did you choose this over that? And they're like, well, because the color red, for example. Now ask them, well, why the color red? Well, because the color red. Obviously, somebody's gonna at the end. I'm gonna conclude inductively that it's because you just prefer the color red. I'm asking you.
No, why would you prefer that? Why? What in the world? Right? Look, I'm gonna say it's so fucking slow for your pea-sized brain. I'm gonna say it's so slow for you.
Why are you questioning that?
You asked me why I accept certain formal systems. I give you an example of the law of identity. A equals A. Okay? So I can choose either to believe that a thing is what it is or not. Okay? So then I think about what does it mean to say a thing is not the thing? That thing is not that thing. What does that even mean? And I don't have a clue what it means to say hero is not hero, okay? Yes. Or that a cat is not a cat. Yes. I just don't know what it means. Okay? So then shut up. Shut the fuck up.
I ask you, let me ask you, maybe you don't understand the question. Why accept meaning, right? Why accept meaning? There's your question. Why that?
Why believe in meaning? What are you asking me?
Why do you accept meaning?
What are you asking me? You repeated yourself.
What am I asking you? Why don't you understand my question?
Because you're fucking stupid.
I'm asking you, why don't you understand my question?
What is that? What are you asking me? What do you mean to accept meaning?
Oh my gosh. You are accepting a formal system for the reason that it means something other than other systems, correct?
I'm saying that the contrary for the law of identity is unintelligible. I don't know what that means.
Great. I'm asking you, right? Why would that be a reason? Okay, let me ask you a better way.
Why would that be a reason? What
Yeah,
do you?
why?
So wait,
Why?
if you let me get this straight. God, you're just think for 1 second. You're asking me, okay, that if something's unintelligible, why not just go ahead and believe it, right? The thing is that for you to believe it, it's got to be intelligible.
You need to define belief.
Can you believe in blah, 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 blah? Can you believe in that, dumbass?
I can believe that the world is blah blah blah.
It's honest,
There are
right?
people that
Can
believe that.
I
What
want
are
you
you
to
saying?
don't change my question. So can you believe
Not
blah blah
me.
blah blah blah?
Yeah, some
Can you
people can.
believe
Yeah,
that?
yeah, some
Huh?
people can. Yeah, some people
Can
can.
you, dumbass? I didn't ask
I'm
if
not.
anybody else. Can you?
No, I can't. But that's not. That's not
Right.
about me.
Because right. So is that a reason for you to not believe it?
I already told you. I have my own reasons. I don't know what you're
You're
asking.
too stupid. Can I talk to somebody with a brain?
It's about you. What are you questioning me?
You're so fucking dumb. You're so fucking dumb.
Oh my gosh, Johnny, I understand everything you're saying. I just disagree. It's not
Yeah,
that
because
big.
you're freaking dumb.
No,
I have
it's a,
worse words for you in my mind. I'm holding myself back.
no, but it's about the fantasy. Remember. So calm down.
By
Look,
fantasy, look, you uncharitable fuck. What when I
I'm
said it's
just,
by fantasy,
I'm
shut
just
up.
speaking
Well,
out to
shut
you, but
up.
calm
Shut
down.
up. Shut up. By fantasy, I meant that I don't think that axioms and logic tell you about. And so far as that, yeah, you got your rhetorical mood. There's a sense in which it's like fantasy, but it doesn't tell you what's true about the world, right? But by the way, it doesn't tell you what's false either.
Look, I'm not asking you if it's false. I'm asking you if it's true. What I'm asking you, okay? Obviously, you understand what I'm asking. You just don't want to answer. The question is, you right have accepted classical logic because,
No, I did not say that.
or not classical logic. Sorry, the law of contradiction. That's what I meant to say. You have
The law
accepted.
of identity.
Yeah, the law of non-contradiction was the example you gave. Unless that was just an example. You said you accept the law of non-contradiction because the inverse of that, right, is unintelligible to you. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I'll ask you the question, right? Why is it gonna? Well, okay. Look, why can someone be like, well, I don't accept the law of contradiction because it is intelligible to me. Why couldn't they say that?
They can say whatever they want.
Well, I'm asking you, why did you? Oh my gosh. The point is, Danny. The point is, it seems to me that you did it right, just because, not for any other reason.
Hey, fucking moron. Can you represent me correctly? And if you don't believe me, what's the point in talking? I'm telling you, I don't know what it means to say you are not you. Okay? That's genuine. Anybody in chat, right, is going to agree with me that it does. Shut up.
I'm not saying no.
Shut up. Right? Shut up. So anybody in chat is probably going to say, I don't know what it means to say that you are not you. Okay? So that's one reason to not believe it. Now, if you're telling me, okay, well, Danny, there are things that I don't understand, they're unintelligible, that I nonetheless have a reason to believe, I don't have anything to say to you. You're a waste of time.
Okay. Are there people? Okay, look, you're acting like this is like some views that I'm just making up on the spot. There are people that believes that.
Who?
Is that,
Who?
is that they're not nihilists? What are they? What is this guy that said that the universe itself is unintelligible?
I don't know. Those people are unintelligible. I don't know what they're saying.
I don't remember his name, but there are people that say that.
Look, there are people that think we don't exist. Okay, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, it
Look,
matters.
you need to learn something. Hey, shut up. You need to learn something. You need to learn that authorities in philosophers were atheists, right? I don't think that should be a reason for someone to abandon their belief in God, because philosophers are crazy shit like we don't have hands, or nothing matters at all, or everything matters to the greatest extent. Philosophers are the craziest motherfuckers. Okay?
I'm not making an you act like I'm making you act like I'm making an and be like, yo, that your only contention is that, well, I'm just not gonna talk.
What do you mean only? What do you mean only?
Well, okay, I don't mean only. Your contention that you said.
You don't mean that. Okay. Stop with the rhetoric.
The contention that you had in the conversation was that, well, if someone were to believe that, I'm just not gonna talk to them.
Yeah, it's like I don't talk to trees. I don't talk to vegetables. I don't talk to people that utter incoherence. I'm just not interested. I'm not interested. Okay.
Okay, you're telling me that there's nothing wrong with those people, right? Because
no. What's wrong is that they're
what is wrong with them?
incoherent.
Why is that? Oh my God, you're treating us like that. It is better to be coherent than to be incoherent.
Yes, that's my value. Now, if you care about incoherence, then
so
fuck you. Then fuck you. Fuck you.
Maybe we did.
You. Fuck you.
Maybe we did.
Fuck you if you. You're pressing me about why it's unreasonable. Why it's unreasonable to think that if it's. What's wrong with that?
That is the point of dim philosophy, bro. What are you?
No. What you're doing is absolute dog shit.
Yeah, I can
philosophy.
question anything I want. What are you talking about? Question anything I want. What are you talking about?
I'm not. I get what answer for what question, dumbass.
Yeah, the question. Okay, you just said that basically it's because and you did say it's because you didn't use the word preference. What was the word you used?
I did not. I used the believe or accept or commit.
No, not that. You just said your values. Yeah, that's what you said. You said your values.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't value wasting my time with numbskulls like you.
Hold on. You're being rhetorical.
Yes. Yes, everyone is frustrated with you.
Gosh. That's normal.
Is there anybody that wants to come up and defend this shit?
What are you talking about? I'm asking you a question, right? And you're like, look,
if you're asking me questions like this is equivalent, right? It's the philosophical equivalent. If someone come after me, why do you disvalue children getting burned to death in a building, right? Like, prove to me that it's reasonable to find that undesirable, right?
Well,
I'm not interested in those questions. I'm not interested in those questions. I'm just not.
Okay. Well, Danny, we don't want to talk to you because you don't think logic is about reality.
What do you mean can? Do you mean it's logically possible that?
Okay, there's no reason to have a conversation with you.
Because I have no reason to talk to you, but I want to show. Hey, shut up. Shut up.
That's not my point.
The only reason.
I'm not being rhetorical right now.
The only reason why I'm talking to you is so that everyone knows how much of a moron you are and how big of a time waster you are.
Yes,
that's the only reason.
Yes, hold on. Why can't now everyone say to you? Why can't now every Christian just?
What do you mean by can? Logically possible?
I'm not asking. No, dude, you understand what I mean? I don't mean logically possible.
No, you clarify this shit right now.
Okay, by can, I'm just saying like people just do it. Is it okay if people do it? Like, is it normal?
Do I want people to do that? You're asking me that?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Do you want people to just be like, well, every time you come, let's say you were to go on a Christian panel and talk about the LPT issue, they're like, well, I don't want to talk to you, Danny, because you think logic is a fantasy.
By fantasy, you're being uncharitable. You know that?
Okay, it's not about reality.
Why are you being uncharitable?
Because you're being a cock to me the whole time. What are you talking about?
No, look, there are a lot of people that think that, like, for instance, do you think intuitionistic logic tells you anything about reality?
I don't think those things mean anything. I think they're false.
Just answer the question.
No, because they're false.
What's false?
They're wrong. They're intuition.
What's false? Tell me the proposition that's false.
I'm not even convinced.
Proposition that's false.
I'm not even convinced. The proposition that okay. I'm not saying a proposition is false. I'm saying that intuitionist logic does not capture reality. Right? Therefore,
what proposition is problematic?
I just told you there is no proposition.
There are propositions that constitute the logic.
Oh my gosh. What?
So what proposition is false?
What do you mean? What proposition is false?
What proposition? Well, actually, maybe another way of asking this is what proposition in classical logic tells you something about reality? Go ahead.
what proposition in classical logic? Yeah, I think stuff like cat is a cat is telling me something about reality.
Okay, what about how's reality like if a cat is a cat? Tell me what it's like.
Yeah, he's telling us that universals and essences, which a cat, right?
We already went over this. We already went over this.
Dude, can I finish?
We already went over this. You know what I'm gonna say?
I know you don't have brought it up as if like I didn't. Oh my gosh, what are you doing?
The point is that, okay, do we agree, okay, because I nominalize a lot of that stuff, do we agree that logic doesn't tell you anything about concrete reality, which is the reality that I have in mind?
I don't, why do you think I'm asking you questions?
Because you're fucking dumb.
No, because I don't know.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing.
No, that's not the same thing, no, because I'm inquiring into what people mean when they see stuff like logic. It sounds like gibberish to me, right? So
what sounds like gibberish?
Well, when someone says, well, something is logically necessary, and then I ask them, well, are you talking about reality? Well, no, I'm not.
Okay, okay, maybe think of it in terms of math, okay? So, do you think that there are axioms or truths in math such that explain or you can prove that 2 + 2 = 4?
Axioms in math? Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'm not going to ask you to do it, but you agree that in principle you could prove that 2 + 2 = 4, right?
Yep.
All right. So can I invent a mathematical system where 2 + 2 = 5?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's provable. It'd be provable in that system, right?
By provable, you just mean that it will follow the rules of the system.
You can prove that 2 + 2 = 5.
Yeah, given the axioms. Yes, given the axioms.
Under that system.
Yes.
Okay. So then how don't you get it, right? That in the mathematical case, 2 + 2 = 4 doesn't tell you anything about reality insofar as that the truth value is actually derivative from the axioms that you accept within the system.
Yeah,
if you accept it.
The point is, right? Oh my gosh. The point is, right? I don't think systems are supposed to just be things. Look, let me speak it in a way that maybe people will understand. What you're saying is that systems are like. What you're saying is that systems are like games that.
Then
You're saying that systems are like games. Hold on. I'm agreeing that's what people treat it as.
no, you agreed with me that I can invent a formal system by which you can prove
Itself to reality.
whatever. The point is that you agreed that 2 + 2 =
I'm being rhetorical. You can have any like type of ideas, right? That in your is what idea comports itself to reality.
I know what you've said, but you're not acknowledging the point that you've agreed to. You've agreed that you can prove certain things to be true under a formal system, right? You've agreed to that already.
I don't even know. By true, we just mean provable in the system, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what truth is. That I don't even know what that even means.
You understood it in the case of you understood it in the case of 2 + 2 = 5. So what are you talking about? You said that 2 + 2 = 5 would be true. You would agree to that.
Okay, yeah, I would
agree.
Yeah, I will agree because what you meant, and I ask you, is provability. You're just saying that 2 + 2 will be provable under the system, correct? Correct? But I don't know.
I cut out. I think I cut out.
Yeah,
repeat
you're
that.
just saying that 2 + 2 = 5 would be provable under the system. You're not. But to me, truth. That's not what truth is. I don't think truth is just provability, not just consistency.
You agreed. So what's in when you? Okay. When you agreed with what, did you understand the notion of truth?
Yeah, provability. That's all I understood. Yeah.
So then you do understand it. Why are you telling me you don't?
I'm not saying I don't understand. I'm saying I don't agree. That's what truth is. Are you not listening?
You said you didn't understand it.
Okay, I don't understand. Right.
I am listening. Are you listening to yourself?
No. Hold on. I understand what they mean. Right. I understand. What they're trying to say. Right. That it's just provable under the system. What I don't understand though is like why, like, why can we have a system that is about reality?
You can include in it. You can make up a formal system that includes axioms that imply something in reality. Sure.
Okay. Okay. You agree that 2 plus 2 equaling 5 is not something that's called I don't know. The only word I know is fantasy. It's called a fantasy, bro. It's not something that has nothing to do with anything.
The point is that there's a notion of true within a system, right? You can't escape that. I can just give you so many examples. It's not even funny.
Dude, I understand what. Dude, I'm not saying. Look, Danny, I will even like say that most analytic people will agree with what you're saying, right? I agree. I just don't understand why even use logic. Why even use those things? Why do they even matter?
Why does logic matter?
I might as well just walk outside and live my life and at least I don't even need logic. I don't even need it.
First of all, a lot of people can live healthy, good lives without knowing any logic.
That's not the point. The point is, dude, I'm not saying people couldn't do this. The point is, when learning logic should be to learn what is real. People don't learn things. You can imagine it. You don't even need people to tell you. You can just sit at home and just create your own shit. You can just do that.
What do you mean you can?
You can just create your own form.
What do you mean you can? Stop using that phrase. You mean people do it?
Yeah, people do it. And
people do that, right? They also do crazy things like, steal and lie and cheat.
But no. The difference is, right, in the stealing and lying and cheat, there's a way you're supposed to conduct yourself. But when it comes to logic, there is no way to anything is okay. You can just create your own.
What do you mean? No, what do you mean by okay?
You can have any system that you desire.
I can. What do you mean?
It's possible for you to make all the system that.
Yeah. So you disagree that it's possible for people to invent their own formal systems? You disagree with that?
Oh my gosh.
They do it all the time.
Dude. The same sense of can when somebody asks, "Can I go to the bathroom?" Okay.
They should. So that should, right? That's a deontic can.
Look,
okay.
I'm asking you, right? When people say that should people have their own formal system? Should everyone have their own formal system?
I mean, I don't really care if they do. I don't think there's a fact of the matter about that question.
Okay. Why?
There are going to be cases where I disapprove, and there are going to be cases where I approve.
Okay. Well, I don't understand that. If logic is not about,
let me give you an example, right? Let me give you an example. Okay, let me give you an example. So suppose a physicist, a Trinitarian, right, wants to preserve his monotheism and invents a proprietary formal system to where they can now say, I believe in one God. The physicist then studies quantum mechanics and sees a kind of paradox, okay? A paradox that, based on the scientific data, is not congruent with the formal system they've adopted, right? In terms of the axioms that they've accepted with the formal system. So then they modify their formal system to account for the scientific data, okay? In the second case, I approve. In the first case, I do not approve. But here we have two cases of it creating new formal systems.
Yeah, but the system, you see, okay, look, the system is adjust in your example in which you agree with, not to do anything else but to account.
The system is what?
Hold on, it's adjusted to account for reality.
No. You see, in sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, right? So some people can invent formal systems in order to manipulate others. Okay? Some people invent formal systems to account for a paradox. Very different reasons for inventing formal systems.
Dude, the example I'm not saying it was necessarily the case, but I was saying that the example you're given with the scientists, right, is that the system is adjusted to account for the data.
Yeah. Okay? Yeah, I have no problems with that in principle.
Okay.
Do you have problems with that?
Dude, I'm not saying I have a problem with anything. Why you like asking me like stuff like, well, do you disagree with me? Like, what does that have to do with anything?
Okay, so far we agree. Go ahead.
Even if I did agree, like, what is
No,
that?
no. You said earlier, like 10 minutes ago, Danny, I just disagree, right? So
Yeah, okay. I disagree that logic shouldn't be about reality. I think it should be always.
okay, but that's what we're, so look, do you understand that if let's try to make it, since you're Christian, if a Muslim invents a formal system to accommodate the Quran, do you think that is not good? Do you think that that's undesirable?
I think that is very undesirable, yeah.
Right. Okay. Now that's different than the scientific case, right? In the scientific case, okay, they're coming to new empirical data that does not reconcile with the formal system that they've adopted, so they renew.
Okay. But how do we what I don't understand is how can't, because you have, okay, when you said to me that like they can do this, are you just saying that it's possible for them to do so? But when I ask you,
You're
like,
saying the can. Did I say can?
no, not in the possible sense that they can create any formal system.
Can you just be very clear?
You agree?
If you from now on, do not use the word can unless it means logically possible.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm meaning logically possible right now.
Okay, go ahead.
You said that you agree that they can create their formal system, but I was asking you earlier, right? Maybe that's where you're misunderstanding, is that should people create their own formal system in any way, shape, or form?
Do you remember my answer to this question?
You said, and if I remember correctly, you said there's no answer to this matter.
It's particularized. In the scientific case, I think they should, right? In the Quranic case, in the Muslim case, they shouldn't.
Okay, so there are conditions, under your view, for when they can.
Yes.
Okay, when they should and when they shouldn't.
Yes, I'm not against revising formal systems or inventing new ones in principle. I'm not against it.
Not against it either. Now, why is it, okay, now that's what I know you're gonna start crashing out. Why is it the case that you take it to be that they should do it when it is about, for example, when it's about just that case, when it's when we have data that disagree with the system?
Sorry, repeat the question.
Why, unless in, oh my God, you're gonna say because it's unintelligible, something like that. But why is it gonna be? Why should people only revise, not only, but revise it when reality doesn't account, the system doesn't account for the data that they have in reality? Why should, under your view, why should that be one of the cases? That's what I'm asking.
Well, I guess one way you could think about it is that it matters the motivation, I think, as to what sorts of formal systems you adopt and which ones you deny. If the motivation is nefarious or ad hoc, meaning like you just want to be a polytheist, or you want the ability to say, look, I am married to one person, but you're married to Sally, Sarah, and Jessica, and they're not each other. You can invent a formal system to go around and say that, hey, yeah, I really have married one person, okay, to preserve monogamy or whatever. But by that you mean that's going to be true under the formal system that you've created, right? I think that's disingenuous. You're talking past everyone, and you know it, right? This is my problem with the Trinity, right? Because I would have no issues with Trinitarians if they said, look, under normal logic, under the kind of logic that people typically accept, it makes no sense. So we've invented our own formal system, Christian logic, right, to where there's consistency. There's not much to say to that person, right? But what Trinitarians are insisting is that it conforms to normal everyday logic, okay? And then they start inserting principles that don't exist in the system, right? So, in other words, if you're changing your formal system to manipulate people for semantic, for rhetoric or semantic language games or whatever, then I have a problem, right? And that's just a moral value that I have.
Okay. So you're saying that like is based on your moral values?
Yeah. Like, look, if someone said to me, Danny, I talked to Jesus, I saw him walk on water, he talked to me, he said that there were three persons and one God. It doesn't make sense under the typical counting methods that I've accepted. I'm going to, I guess there's another counting method, and here it is, right? Then if I actually, in principle wouldn't have a big problem, right? But then when they gaslight me and say that I'm not counting normally, right? That under my system of counting there's one God, that is where I draw the line.
Yeah. So I guess you don't take it to be the case. I can ask you, why do you have those particular because that's what I was gonna ask next, but why does those particular
No, intellectual honesty and no manipulation? Why do I value those things? Because now we're kind of changing now the discussion's changed since then. But
but you
when I
don't
want to,
believe the reason why is because when I ask you that, under my view, right, is that if those things are not explained, then the other things are not explained. But under you think that, well,
yeah, but that's not. Why would I accept that as transitive?
it's just an axiom, bro. I don't know.
Look, I can give you a counterexample. Okay, imagine a random number generator.
I can imagine that, by the way, but
Okay, you said you can't.
no.
Okay, never mind. I'm done talking then.
No, but go ahead.
No, I'm not playing with you anymore, right? Like, you
Well,
can't
we
imagine a random number generator. You can't imagine a machine that shows a number every minute and there's no explanation for it.
You already talked to me about this, you remember? I already told you I don't believe those things can exist. I don't even believe that what's it called again? Libertarian fool can
I
exist.
think God has the power to create a system where there's indeterminacy.
No, it's impossible.
He's like, that's a strike against his omnipotence. But because I don't see a contradiction there. But that's another story, right? Like the point.
Contradiction.
I don't know. I mean, it's a crazy view, but the point. You really think randomness is contradictory?
Yes.
Is it unintelligible to you, the notion of randomness?
Very unintelligible, but I think that since I take that logic and metaphysics collapse.
Okay, do you know what it means to say that something has no explanation?
Something has no explanation?
Yeah, do you understand that?
Well, vaguely, like it's
that's just basically randomness.
Well, no explanation. Well, God has no explanation. It's not random because it's necessary.
God has no explanation. I thought that's not the kind of thing that y'all would say.
Well, when we say that, like,
I thought that his essence explains his existence.
Yeah, that is true. But that's just to say that he's necessary. I mean, that like to me, just to say that God is necessary.
Whatever. I'm done. You've exhausted me. I'm done. I got really angry, but I apologize again.
No, you're good, bro. You got it.
But please don't talk to me for at least a month.
Yeah, bro.
About philosophy, anyhow. I don't care about chilling, just talking. But I'm not talking to you. I got to take a month break from you.
You're zero, bro. Do you agree with what he's saying?
Bro.
You take that.
Zero? Are we there?
Take logic is not about reality?
Yeah, I would disagree. I think logic has to correspond to reality.
Yeah, I don't know what that even means, bro.
Zero, can you even name one inference rule?
Modus ponens, modus tollens.
What does modus ponens what in reality corresponds to modus ponens?
What in reality
Corresponds to modus ponens.
I don't even know what that means.
I can help you with that.
Exactly.
Saying it exists in a formal system.
I can help you out, what it corresponds
Exactly.
to. Yeah. So when it comes to like obviously deduction is gonna be about universals and particulars and how they relate to one another. Right. So you go from universals to like in deductions from universals to particulars. So what you're doing is that you're taking a universe, right, with a third term, you need a second term to connect the two. But the terms are corresponding to things in reality. They're just particulars. Like,
Zero agrees with me that nothing in reality corresponds to modus ponens.
Wait, what?
no,
System does.
modus ponens is just the relation between universals and particulars.
But that's not what Zero agrees, right? Zero, you didn't know what it meant when I asked what corresponds to modus ponens in reality. You didn't know what that meant.
So, but hold on, what do you mean by maybe they understand, right? Obviously, modus ponens is talking about the relation between universals and particulars.
Not obvious at all.
That is very obvious. I mean,
not obvious at all.
Like all men are mortal. Socrates is a man. Socrates is mortal. That just
I'm glad Zero finds the question unintelligible. That's the very point.
That's just to give the relation between Socrates and mortality. And that's me.
I'm just happy that someone that thought that they agreed with you realized how silly the position is.
I just said I think it's going to be what corresponds to a logical system.
Okay, so what? So name one. Is classical logic comprised of axioms and inference rules? I guess inference rules are necessary tautologies. I guess
inference rules are tautologies.
Inference rules are well, they're necessarily true, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not disagreeing. It's like P and Q, like stuff like that. Yeah.
Anyway, Zero. What corresponds to A or not A? What in reality corresponds to A or not A? Zero.
Well, if you've read Legrand's Zero.
No, let me ask Zero. Zero. What corresponds to A or not A?
Corresponds to A and not A.
Yeah, in reality.
I don't think contradictions like.
That's a conjunction. This is a disjunction, not a conjunction.
Oh, sorry. I thought you. Wait, are you saying A or not A?
Right, A or not A. Yeah. What corresponds to that?
Just be like exist and not exist.
What in reality corresponds to that?
You just said it. You said exist and not exist.
That's a thing in reality?
Yeah.
Where is?
I think existence is a thing.
Yeah, we take
A or not A. So existence corresponds with A or not A. Man, Zero and Hero, y'all are perfect. Y'all should get married.
It can exist and not exist.
Have you read Lagrange?
Well,
Lagrange literally says that. Lagrange literally says that the law of non-contradiction is literally being in.
I'm done. I'm so done. Y'all are perfect for each other. I'll be at the wedding. Invite me.
What?